Big picture when it comes to any kind of regulation, when it comes to crypto, is what's going on with the crypto market structure bill. And the big sticking point at this moment is whether crypto companies can give some reward points or yield on stablecoin balances. You've said that the crypto industry is going to lose the battle against the banking lobby on this. Why is that, Mike?
Listen, there are a lot of banks. They've done this a long time. They're good at lobbying. They have community banks, their cousins, their poor cousins, very poor cousins in every district of every congressman. And the community banks are being used very effectively to say, oh my goodness, we're going to have this terrible deposit flight and then we'll not be able to give credit. It's not a real story, but it's working. Because listen, if people wanted to take their money out of community banks, they could have put it into Galaxy's 8% offering or SoFi's. There are so many neobanks, and yet deposit flight is slow, right? Deposits in general are sticky. And so over time, yes, there would be deposit flight, but there should be, because in most of those banks, including JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, you name it, Chase, Citibank, you put your money in your savings account and they pay you nothing. And they make a whole lot of money leaving it at the Fed at 3.5% or 4%. And so it is terrible for the consumer. It's ironic that Washington, both Democrats and Republicans, are saying, hey, let's side with big banks and not the consumers, not our constituents. But that's exactly what's happening. And so Brian Armstrong and the stablecoin issuers who are saying, hey, we want to actually have an innovative, security that allows us to pass on some of that interest to our customers through rewards, or actually in the perfect way, it would be through direct interest. Mm-hmm. But banks are strong in the lobby, and I do think a deal gets done somewhere in between. But right now, both sides are kind of at a Mexican standoff. Why do I think a deal still gets done? Like, the Republican senators have put a lot of time in this and have a lot at stake, right? Yeah. Trump is the quote crypto president. You've got the House and the Senate. You better be able to pass a crypto bill, or you look pretty weak.
Give us your view on when you think that market structure bill will pass.
And the Democrats have the same. The Democrats don't want the crypto pack, which just came out and said we've got $190 million of a bazooka ready to shoot at people that stand in the way of crypto. And so the Dems just want to pass this thing and have crypto off the table in politics. It never should have been political. It always should have been a bipartisan issue. Elizabeth Warren made it political. Okay. Gary Gensler made it political. Well, and so, listen, I think this is, 2 weeks, it's 6 weeks. And I think my hope is we have something done.
Okay. I want to get your take on prediction markets as well. The CFTC chairman, Michael Selig, clearly talking about the need to come up with some kind of rules of the road for this part of the market. It's growing very, very quickly. And I'm wondering, from where you sit, what is the single most important legislation or rule that needs to be put forth on prediction markets?
It's a good question. I think the industry, not the prediction market industry, but the sports betting industry, the gambling industry, got caught off guard that the CFTC basically said, hey, this is a new form of security, or a new form of a new form of a platform for people to use as a hedging to make bets on, and they allowed it. Right. And so since then, there has been a furious lobbying effort by the casinos and the sports betting places to say that's not fair. We have all this compliance we need to do, and these guys don't. And so I'm guessing the CFTC is trying to thread the needle to keep the existing world happy to a degree, and not have to go back on this new industry, which is innovative as can be, which is growing, which has captured the imagination of not just the retail users of it, but somebody like ICE, right? Jeff Sprecher put $2 billion into Polymarket.
Yeah.
And so, this is another battle of incumbents trying to protect their turf against an innovative, new upstart. Yes.
Well, our colleague Emily Nicole reported back in November that Galaxy Digital is experimenting in prediction markets, discussions with Polymarket and Kalshi. What's the latest there?
You know, again, we didn't invest in those guys way back. I wish I had. I had the opportunity to, and you know, I quite frankly wasn't convinced that without sports bet, you know, that just, you know, you weren't allowed to do politics back then. Sports betting seemed off the table, and so I didn't see where the TAM was. And you know, these guys proved me wrong, and the CFTC gave them the pass. And so if you look at prediction markets, most of the volume happens around sports betting. And so, you know, there are not that many things you want to bet on every day, but sports happen. They have their defined outcomes, right? Politics, which again was illegal for U.S. investors to bet on politics, and you know, you had the whole raid of Polymarket. You know, this is a new regime. It's a new administration with a very different view. And so, so what could we do? We want to look at infrastructure. We want to be market makers. We want to, you know, be providers of liquidity. And we're just getting started.
Other trading firms, Mike, have also considered getting involved in prediction markets like jump trading or sports betting. AQR Capital Management has talked about sports betting. How do you see this competitive landscape developing over the next year?
Yeah, listen, I mean, if you think about sports betting, you've got, you know, Susquehanna's been a giant in it. These high frequency traders with huge technology budgets they'll trade anything that moves, and they're good at it. And so I think there will be lots of liquidity provided from that same group of people that provide liquidity in same-day options and in that market making everything. And so if retail comes, there will be plenty of institutions to pick up their pennies and nickels.
Mike.